This is a photo podcast presented by me, Richard Crothers, about the making of the video No Show by Window Seats.
No Show.
Director Brian Stewart.
Once then Tony came back, it was really all steam ahead really, and in the interim, waiting for Tony to come back, we just like hammered out the idea more, developed the story like amongst us all, like the three of us. A guy was flying back and forward to London and, you know, straight from the airport to the table, like, and knocking out the idea and stuff like that.
Jack.
Sketched the storyboard basically of how he wanted the video to go. It's the first time he had the chance to sort of talk to me as maybe the props guy, just to try and find out what I could do, what was possible. It started off, you know, it was just really revolving around this iPhone, but it got more and more intense as it went on. You know, we realised that we had Didzy's garage and all these tools to be able to actually make our own rig and stuff.
We knew that we'd be using a lot of tracking in the performance video and in the narrative. Like our initial thoughts were like, well, we can rent something. As it got closer and closer, we were like, sure, like, let's just try to build one.
It was this point that it wouldn't be a low budget production, but a no budget production.
The centrepiece of most of the filming work was this dolly, which was going to be the mounting platform on wheels basically for the camera. For like when you're shooting outdoors, you just want to roll past and get a good view. Like instead of it being handheld and shaky, we just hooked up an old mountain board and with a few modifications and managed to pull something out of that. That was the first project in Didzy's garage, you know, just to basically strengthen the mountain board, because it's obviously designed to have a bit of give in it, a bit of suspension, but we didn't want that at all. When you want the camera action to be as smooth as possible.
Who loves this stuff?
Polymorph.
Not spit.
It starts off as granules, but you can heat it up with boiling water or like a hairdryer or something, and then it all joins together and becomes flexible, like plasticine or something. We could just melt some of this stuff and push it in place, and then it would just solidify and turn rock solid. Like again, it was the strengthening the trucks on this mountain board. We wanted to make it stronger. We used that. We also had an old tripod which was going to be connected to this dolly just to mount the camera, and again, we put polymorph around each of the joints and that. But there's even more intense rigs as well.
Once we started talking about how we would shoot the iPhone in motion as if somebody is running with it and being able to view the video in their hand. I had initially sketched out something very basic, and it was like the basic aim is to link the camera to the iPhone so that they both move the same, so they're locked into position and the background is moving then. I always knew from the get-go that it would require a rig. The type of camera rig is called, in the industry, is called a doggy cam.
I didn't even know what a doggy rig was, but I soon found out.
Jonathan Beer.
So it appears like there's a little bit of conjecture about the correct term of the rig, which was strapping the phone onto the camera and going around the back of Kojak as he was running. Some are calling it donkey, some are calling it doggy. Any term can be used. Don't be thrown off. If I'm talking about the doggy rig, it is the same as the donkey rig.
Yeah, and from initial sketches, and then throughout the process developed into our own very homemade doggy rig.
Or of course, donkey rig.
So yeah, a big part of this was the fact that there's so many constraints on well, obviously at the time we were working very quickly, but mainly on budget. You know, I remember asking, you know, initially okay, we're going to make all these rigs and stuff. What's the budget on materials? And they were zero.
I thought this was ambitious, but at the same time achievable. You know, we were not talking a huge budget or anything like that.
Me and Didsy came across this skip around the corner from his house, which soon became known as the Skip of Dreams because it just kept on giving. It's almost like we would just wish for something to be in it and we go around and find exactly what we're looking for. We must have been there so many times, coming back with all this recycled wood and then chopping it up, putting it together. I mean, if you look back on what we actually created, it cost nothing. We just worked with what we had.
So Kojak and the guys again, Didsy and Tony and Jude and, everybody just grouped together and got materials, built it.
When I work at home, I've just got my room set up. There's only so many things you can do indoors without annoying people, drilling and hammering and cutting and all. You need a garage for that, and thankfully Didsy had one. But as it got closer and closer to the actual shoot, hours were getting more and more intense, and I practically lived in Didzy's house while it was all wrapped up. You go in, you wouldn't come out. It was an experience.